Am I the butthole for taking back the beer I bought for a party from which I was uninvited? This happened just a few hours ago. I am a 19-year-old man and the people calling me a butthole are 18-year-old men and women. On Thursday, a person I had a major crush on in high school, but who rejected me, messaged me out of the blue. She had never contacted me without my contacting her first, and at one point I realized she had had me blocked on social media, and so I found it odd that she was suddenly being friendly. After sending a couple of greetings/questions about how I've been, she said that she was going to have some people over and wanted to know if I would get the beer. The drinking age where we are is 19, and she and the people who were going to chill were all 18. The liquor stores in my area all card. I thought it was silly that my being a month older meant I could buy liquor and they couldn't, and so I said I would love to go. She said thanks, I'll pick you up at 7. 7 o'clock rolled around, and she texted me to say she was in front of my house. I went out dressed and ready to chill with some people, and she drove me to the liquor store. When we got there, I asked what beer she wanted me to get, and she told me to get Budweiser. I hid my disappointment as well as I could, but it was her party so I went in and bought 2 cases of 24. I got back in the car and said let's party, and she was eerily quiet. I noticed that she wasn't driving towards her neighborhood, but rather back towards mine. I thought she had moved or something, but didn't want to press the issue. When she turned down my street I finally figured it out. She was being purposefully vague about the invitation because she wanted me to get the beer, but she wanted a way out when she told me I wasn't actually invited in the first place. She stopped in front of my house, leaned over, kissed me on the cheek, and said thanks. In her best voice. I deadpanned her and asked when she was going to tell me I wasn't invited. She feigned surprise and said that she never intended to invite me in the first place. I sat in silence for a long awkward minute, picked up the beer, and walked towards my front door. She got out of her car and frantically tried to re-invite me to the party, but I told her that what she did was the most humiliating thing that ever happened to me. I opened my front door, slammed it a bit too hard, and came back to my room. Now I'm sitting here drinking absolutely unpalatable piss water, and I have text messages from all of her friends and her asking me why I'm being such a dick. I don't think I'm the butthole for reacting the way I did, but if you haven't figured it out I'm not amazing socially so I'm not sure. Am I here? NTA. Blatantly. How did she expect this to go? You'd happily go buy her beer, then take it to the party, then leave, without partying or drinking your beer? They have to all be a bit cracked in the head if they believe that was ever going to work. I'd take a Snapchat of me pouring that down a toilet before I ever gave it to them. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I hope you can move past what a nasty piece of work this girl, not woman, is. I'd take a Snapchat of me pouring that down a toilet before I ever gave it to them. That's an awesome idea. I was planning to just throw them in my fridge and tell my stepdad to go nuts because he'll drink anything. No, he's not an alcoholic, but down the toilet would work well too. Pour one out for her terrible party and then give the rest to your stepdad. You get brownie points for doing something nice for him while she gets to go cry over being terrible. This, but in the photo hold a few bottles to make it looks like you're flushing the whole lot out of spite, instead of just one. And have a few half-crushed empty cans on the ground in the shot for good measure. And this is why I love Reddit. Being a butthole to buttholes brings out the best of it. I would bet he got one or the other. I've never seen someone buy both bottles and cans of the same beer at the same time, lol. As horrible as the beer is, take a video of you drinking them and enjoying them. Don't give those buttholes the satisfaction of treating you horribly and seeing you upset by it. I wouldn't even react to them at all. Your move was enough and you should just let it rest. You have the moral high ground in that situation, leave it that way. Teasing only gives them the impression that you actually are TA. This is actually the best advice I've seen, realistically. Agreed. The whole take a video of X or Y to show them how upset you are seems very petty and kind of childish to me. Why even let them know you care? You're just going to look like a jerk and give them a reason to say this is why we didn't want to invite him/her in the first place. Just be upset about it privately, maybe tell the story to some of your other friends or family to vent if you want, give away or drink the beers, and move on. This is seriously the best option. When they go low, you go high. You will earn the respect of everyone around you, especially and including self-respect long term. Don't be a petty child like they are. Please don't record yourself being vindictive, it will backfire and you will cringe and regret it down the line. The best revenge is silence. Just stonewall them and get on with your life. People that have no empathy or common sense chips installed are not worth your time, and then they did you a favor by showing you who they are early on. You dodged a bullet, mate. Celebrate that fact, and don't lose any sleep over this. You are a better person than they are. Exactly. Drink them, or pretend to. She and her friends are terrible humans in this aspect. F them. Petty me likes this. Alternatively, take a photo of your stepdad's friends drinking them and send it. Be like, sorry, hanging out with people who aren't butthole advantage takers. If they don't like them, they only have to pose. NTA. Nah man, F that. We'll all bring Coronas and Modelo's or all our favorite beer and have a bigger party with original posts showing how much of a butthole those people were. The second Corona is not spreading like crazy, it is time to party with Op. Were you at original posts so we can rent a hall for all of us? I'm not joking. People had a party with dancing guys, so let's have a party with Op. We can do this. If he is down, I'd be happy to set it up. Who's in? I live in the other side of the Pacific, but I'm sure as hell coming over to party, and I'm bringing, or looking forward to buying there, some of my favorite beers. Yeah, I live in Polynesia, but if I can attend via Skype, I will. Dude, he just said he has a bunch of crappy beer. He doesn't need you to bring even more. Well, that's why I said we're your favorite kind. No need to disrespect mine, good sir. Just playing. I'm a fussy eater and a fussy drinker. I don't seriously think I'm an arbiter or taste. The right thing to drink is the thing that you like. Hey man, now you have something to post in the Ask Reddit thread. What's the fastest you've lost a crush on someone? You can also make beer bread. I've made it many times. You don't have to add much sugar. 1/4 cup is a lot, maybe a single tablespoon will do. They're serious about the sifting though, it goes great with stews and soups. Web link. Also beer pancakes, beer gravy, beer brat/sausage, etc. I always use craft beer for those sorts of things because the good stuff is always for drinking while cooking. Beer pancakes. Oh wow, I haven't made chocolate stout pancakes in a long time. Thanks for the reminder. I'll whip some up next weekend. Edit. I couldn't find the recipe in my cookbooks this morning, but this one looks close. Web link. Beer is an awesome cooking agent. Everyone always knows to cook with wine, but beer seems to be underrated. Ever made Guinness French dips or Guinness stew? So good. 3 words, Guinness chocolate cake. Mate, thanks for the ideas, that sounds scrumptious. Guinness stew and French fries sound so good right now. Tell me more about your chocolate stout pancakes, please. Read this in the voice of Bubba. Sautéed beer, beer kebabs, beer stew, barbecue beer, fried beer, beer scampi, beer on the barbie, beer sandwich. Beer cheese. Oh, that's a good idea. Bad beer tends to make great beer bread. If you care at all about appearance, I wouldn't Snapchat myself pouring it down the toilet. I think your best course of action would be to leave it behind you and try to forget her. That doesn't mean you should be afraid of telling your part of the story if it ever becomes relevant. Hang in there, man. Cheers. Yeah, I wouldn't say anything at all, to be honest, because all this stuff people are suggesting just makes it look like he really cares and is hung up on it, and from their perspective it looks pretty cringy. I would just not talk to them further and leave it be and do my own thing, to be honest. Yay, the petty revenge fantasies aren't going to help him. The woman ruined her own party by this action, and I'm sure she spent the day texting everyone that she has the booze taken care of. She is already the one looking foolish. It sounds like original post didn't have a relationship with these people anyway. So it really is no loss. Also, if you care about jail. It's not great evidence, but this could be construed as intent to provide, if not something worse. Let it go, cut these people out, and make actual quality friends. The fact that you stood up for yourself and took the beer with you tells me that there are good things in your future. It sucks when people are buttholes, but you have a base level of self-worth that will serve you well. This is not a criticism of people who don't have that. I didn't. Maybe still don't. But having enough of it at 19 to do what he did is awesome. And we can all work towards that, obviously not the butthole, and good for you for standing up for yourself. There is a whole world out there full of people who aren't those people. Don't do this, or any of the other revenge video suggestions. It will just make you look petty. Last thing you want to do is to make this into a big thing. Best thing is to just move on. Making a video is just going to make you look needy for attention. Honestly, any attempt to get back at them will just be seen by them as you being pathetic for even thinking you had a chance, and now having a temper tantrum for not being cool enough to hang out with them. It will not be the epic burn moment you're picturing in your head. Best revenge is living well. Hey dude, want to let you know you're not the butthole, but I wouldn't take this advice either. It's bitterly antagonistic and might bite you on the ass. Let your stepdad enjoy them instead, and let the beers be a cheap expense to remove toxic people from your life. I'm guessing you're probably in Canada. If you ever need a drinking buddy when you're in Vancouver, hit me up and I promise I won't make you drink any bud. Laughing out loud. Was she even going to repay you for the beer? Like that's just a dick move even before everything else that happened. Like if someone is picking up something that they aren't going to use for you, then pay them back or let them come to the party. F her and her friends. They don't sound like good people and you can do better. I think she didn't want to pay for it, or she would have just asked for him to use the ID as a favor and never try to make him think he was invited. It would make no sense to try to mislead him if her intention wasn't to get free beer. I would too. NTA talk about used and abused. Hey, who do we know is old enough to buy us beer? I know such and such, haven't spoken to him, but I'll be all nice and get him to pick up beer, then ditch him. What a crafty thing to do to a person. NTA, she's a horrible person. But, I feel bad for you buying all that awful tasting piss water. No, it's not, assuming it's not legal to purchase beer for 18-year-olds where you live. Maybe it's not a good idea to escalate to a standoff with immature little monsters. You can't beat stupid. And yes, NTA. Well, now we need an update. NTA, I would have loved to see her face when you took the beer with you. Good for you. That pissed off face after doing something wrong to someone is so good to see. They should be able to buy Budweiser, because in my area it is not considered beer but camel piss. Budweiser is like having sex in a canoe. Effing close to water. Edit. Thanks for the silver, kind stranger, and thanks to Monty Python for the great jokes. And her loss of cred when she got back to her party without the boasted beer. Laughing out loud. Nah, she didn't lose cred. The flip side of this scenario usually plays out something like this: we should get beer. How? Irrational offer is, insert legal drinking age, right? Oh, great idea. Events happen. What a dick, I know, right? Mob mentality takes over and the fault is directed away from her and onto Op. Despite the fact they're not the butthole in this situation, they are paraded as one. Perhaps, but I like to think that the party atmosphere dropped like a wet fart in a silent room. Oh, it completely ruins the party. In this case it gives me great joy too. The fact is, it was probably their only hookup, hence the incessant texts, but they'll direct their anger and frustration toward original post and away from Queen Bee. Yeah, even imagining it gives me lots of joy. NTA, of course. Op, you got out cheap. Might be glad that she took the time to reject you in the first place. That kind of disregard of the feelings of other people usually doesn't stop for boyfriends either, and that could have cost you more than just those beers. I originally commented asking for more information but decided it really didn't matter. NTA. To be completely honest, it kind of sounds like you weren't actually invited. She just asked if you would get her beer for the night. That being said, it's definitely an awe move for her to reach out to you after a long period of time, seemingly out of the blue, just to ask you to break the law for her and to not even invite you to the party after. From my understanding, you bought the beer with your own money, so you're absolutely not in the wrong for taking it with you once you realized you weren't being invited to the party. You didn't yell at her, call her names, or do anything rude, just took your beer and left. I actually don't think you could have handled this better than you did. If there was a stronger judgment than NTA, I'd give it to you. My thoughts too. I got the impression she was just asking him to get the beer. That's it. She's still the butthole for everything else. Kind of. The thing is, I made it very clear that I thought I was going to be joining and she never tried to correct me. She knew what she was doing. Completely agree with you. But that probably means she was very selective about what she said to you. She never corrected you, but did she ever outright invite you or mention you coming to the party? You're not in the wrong either way. It's a lie of omission. Op was very specific about wanting to go and she only waited until after the beer was in her car to show her true color. Fixed typo. Telling someone you have a few people coming over for a get-together and asking them if they could get the beer automatically implies that they are invited too. Because common courtesy and non-crappiness dictates that you don't ask people to get things for a party you don't want them to be at. Exceptions exist. For example, your significant other is having a girls' night/boys' night with her friends and needs help. If you really want it due to someone, then you make sure it's clear that they are not invited and the reason isn't offensive by mentioning something along the lines of, "Me and the girls are having a girls' night," or "Some of my cousins are coming over and I'm swamped. Could you do me a huge favor and pick up some beer for us? I'll Venmo the money." Edit. Fat thumbs. Yes, so much this. "Could you get the beer for us" is clearer way to ask for a favor without an invite. "I'm having a party this date, could you get the beer?" is implying an invitation. "Could you get the beer for us" is clearer way to ask for a favor without an invite. But then you run a bigger risk of someone saying no. Exactly this. A coworker I'm not on good terms with told me she was having a game night and asked if she could borrow some board games from me. But she didn't invite me, so I lied and told her I didn't have any, laughing out loud. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.